Alright, Sabra, let's see how you guys did with your cone pattern this month. I'm liking the California roll. Good. So I just prepare that downward transition just a little bit more. I don't blame you for lifting your hand, but you still did it somewhat simultaneous with you sitting. And there should be a 1, 1,000, 2, 1,000. Alright, so as you sit, exhale, then lift your hand. Just let's use this slow motion feature. I haven't used that for a while. So now you sat and lifted kind of at the same time, right? I would love it for you to get really committed to giving her a full phase with your breath, a full phase of sitting trot, and then bring up your hand if you need to. Nice. I like that that's a sweet spot. And I like that you're tapping her when she's trying to root. Such an annoying habit. You do not want her to get in the habit of rooting. Good. Try to keep that leg only doing steady pressure. Remember, your legs and your reins are porcupine game. Your stick is to support with the driving game. Don't get suckered into fluttering or spanking her with your legs. Nice job with your right rein, using that to support the hind quarter yield. Good. Nice. Already much improved from last month. I like how you have your cone set up on the outside as well to make sure that you make circles and not eggs. Ooh, see, that was better. That was fair. You still had to use your reins, but she had way more of a runway of you committing to sitting down and kind of hunkering down in your seat for the transition. Super. Good. Nice. And I like that too, just to clarify. I love that when you came to a halt, you could feel she wanted to put her head down. So you just threw the reins at her so that she wouldn't run into the bit. That's really savvy. It's one thing to keep them from stretching, and it's another thing to ask them to put their head up. Always allow her to stretch if you can. But when you go to pick up your reins to say, okay, now like we're going back to work, that's when I'm fine with you tapping her with the crop and saying, no, now you don't get to be demanding about keeping your head down there or rooting against the bit. But I love that. You just threw the reins and went, oh, nothing to run into, free to stretch. Good, I like how you're setting up her sideways too by getting her weighting her hind end with the back up first. Good job switching your whip. Good. You could, and if you needed to, you could even back up a couple steps at the end of it. Cookie? This is a random observation or comment, but you always do it from this direction, like where you stop facing the field. If you ever feel like you need to mix things up with her, but you can't necessarily go play with the pattern out in her pasture or somewhere else, maybe just the simple act of reversing the pattern so that you're stopping facing your house will add an element of variety for her. Nice. Beautiful. You're ready to put the next string on and start relying on that. That'll keep progressing you towards the level 3 freestyle. Good. Now you're being effective with your reins. I like that. I'm okay with you using them as long as there's a purpose and you're using them for her to help her find the answer and not having her lean on it or like reprimanding her with them. And of course, you could still roll your shoulders back. I'm thinking about all the things to pick on you for. You want to keep thinking about making big circles, rolling your shoulders back so that the scapula like rolled down the back of your spine. Good. Her canter looks so much better. It looks slow. That was not the best transition I've ever seen. Really try to prepare her, especially now that you have contact. It's a different story if you're riding her freestyle and she kind of falls into the trot. But here you're holding her hand. This is more finesse riding with the contact. So you need to be a little more responsible of not just dropping her, letting go of her in the transition, and see if you could prepare her even more by doing like a and prepare to trot, or half halting 3 times with your outside rein, or like pumping your abs, like flexing your abs 1, 2, 3 before you exhale to trot. Just do something to prepare her better for that, because you're going to lose rapport and respect if you say, hey, hold my hand and dance with me, and then you drop her on her face. Keep your outside hand lower. If you keep that outside hand lower, it's going to help her to push into it and keep from inverting through the transitions. Nice. Not that I'm a huge advocate of side reins, but if you think about your hands being like side reins, so kind of wide and low, you're going to give her that position to bow into it with her body. So try to think about where your side rein would connect. Like usually people clip them on down here. So try to think how you could really, this is good incentive for you to roll those shoulder blades back so that you can have this nice angle from your elbow to the bit, but have it be really low, even down here if you can in moments, especially when you do your half halt for the transition. You're going to have your hand low on the outside and half halt, half halt, half halt, exhale. I really close my knees too for the downward transition. It's like everything goes boom, like I'm bringing you back. I'm not going forward anymore. You guys look great though. I can't wait to be back there and I can't wait to ride her. I'm so excited.